Well, good morning, traders. Welcome to Beyond Profile. Today is Tuesday, and it is June 28th, our last week of June, and end of quarter, end of month. As you saw yesterday, we took off nicely as they do the end of month markup here. S&P still inside of its stage 3 here on the daily time frame. Again, yesterday, if we looked at this one compared to the NASDAQ side by side, this one a little bit more relative weakness, if you will, versus the technology-laden NASDAQ. We'll look at that in just a moment here. The point is we're still in a stage 3. We will continue to be in a stage 3. At some point we'll break out of this stage 3 and we will look for a directional move into an imbalanced state, either up or down out of this. And until that happens, we can continue buying the lows and selling the highs in this formation. One thing to point out here is that we do have this open gap down here, down at the 1250 area, which if in fact they were going to run this market higher, we could take out a lot of stops from the longer term traders by running through this area and almost creating like a panic, if you will, by running through here, picking up a bunch of stops, taking those out, and then continuing to, sustain within the yearly value area. So through it and then back inside of it and then out the top end of this after that would occur. That's one scenario that we're looking at. The other scenario would be is that we just run right from here on the top side, which seems kind of unlikely at this point. We've got earnings. What is going to push us up? We almost need a sort of a capitulation, if you will, a short-term bottom in here. If you look at the yearly balance area, we're still in it. Goes back down to about 1244, 45s here, and then obviously the top side here, or the yearly highs, were here. We're still in balance for the whole year. Half the year's gone by. We're just auctioning unfair lows, unfair highs back and forth within this range. Now, like I said, the S&P had a little bit more. It has some more room to go yesterday if it wants to get all the way back to these 80 to 93 level, which have been the prior pivot highs up here, compared to the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at that. You'll see the difference here. NASDAQ, now this is the same, again, daily chart. Here's the yearly value area low down here. This is what we've put in as far as a low here, and you can see that this has actually some signs of more relative strength from the perspective that it went already out the top of the B yesterday and tried to hold 46, 47, the monthly point of control right here. Big area for us. We're actually above it right now, even pre-market here on Tuesday morning. So this has the potential to make a nice run here outside of this. If it breaks, it goes to an uncertainty phase, which is seeking value. So that will give us our directional move. And when we look up to the left here, there's not too many things here other than technical gap fills at 71s, high volume nodes, naked point of controls on the daily 76. Here's another one at 90, and then again another technical gap would be way up over into here where we closed 23, 22. So it's a strong, clean move from this balance here. Like I said, this balance area will produce an imbalanced state, either up or down outside of it. And until that occurs, we continue to play the stage 3 on the daily time frame from unfair lows to unfair highs. And then intraday, obviously, we do the same thing. It's the same concept. We work down into the smaller time frames. So for today and for the rest of the week, with it being end of month, we've seen a nice move yesterday. Well, we get the continuation today. We're at key levels here on the NASDAQ threshold, if you will. This would be what we call the unfair high territory. And this is where we would begin to look to see if we can see supply coming in, and this would fail here for it to auction back down. The key number here is obviously this 46, 47 area for the month. If we can't stay above that level today, then the chances are is that we're going to auction back down again, because think about it as almost like a low ceiling in your house, and you walk from room to room, and all of a sudden you go from one room to the next, and all of a sudden the ceiling comes in. All right, you had an 8-foot ceiling in one room. Now you got a 6-foot ceiling, and now you're probably having to duck or very close to it. Same thing with the markets here. If we stay underneath the monthly point of control, then that's going to force the hands, the pressures to the top side, pushing us back down through the range. If we can stay above it, then we can see continuation very nicely here. All right. Well, that's it, folks. If you haven't been in the room yet, be sure that you do sign up for a free trial. We'll see you there later today. Have a good trading day, everyone.